We were discussing Varnasrama Dharma in this section from 41 to 48. The Lord has explained the duties of the various orders. And now in 45, the Lord is telling, by following the qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. Text 46. Yatha pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tata swakarmana tap abhyarchya siddhim bindanti manavaha. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. As stated in the 15th chapter, all the living beings are fragmental part and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the Supreme Lord is the beginning of all the living entities. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Asya Yataha. The Supreme Lord is therefore the beginning of life of every living entity. And as stated in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord, by his two energies, his external energy and internal energy, is all pervading. Therefore, one should worship the Supreme Lord with his energies. Generally, the Vaishnava devotees worship the Supreme Lord with his internal energy. His external energy is a perverted reflection of the internal energy. The external energy is a background, but the Supreme Lord, by the expansion of his plenary portion, as Paramatma, is situated everywhere. He is the super soul of all the demigods, all the human beings, all animals, everywhere. One should therefore know that as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one has his duty to render service unto the Supreme. Everyone should be engaged in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness. This is recommended in this verse. Everyone should think that he is engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesha, the master of the senses. And by the result of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, should be worshipped. If one thinks always in this way, in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 12:7, Te Shamaham Samudhartha. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection. The Supreme Lord is making the process of spiritual advancement very easy for the living entity. Spiritual adjustments are not time taking. Spiritual adjustments, modifications are just a matter of decision. It's not time taking. To offer food to the Lord, not a big deal. Anyways, we cook for ourselves. We cook for any guest. To chant Hare Krishna, not a big deal. Anyways, people spend more time watching the news, watching Netflix, watching others, watching the sky. Not a big deal. Every aspect of Krishna consciousness will say, not a big deal actually. But if we try to see, so we see, okay, similarly association of devotees, not a big deal. Anyways, people want to be part of so many societies. Then you have to pay to be part of the societies. Many societies, the Royal Calcutta Club, not Royal Calcutta Club, So you have to pay thousands of rupees just to be member, part of it. Not a big deal. Speaking Krishna Katha, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Anyways, people are looking for some or the other topic to speak. Okay, what will be the topic of discussion today? What will be the topic of discussion? And many times there is lack of topic. Many times there is lack of topic. Because material world sometimes, it's all saturated. Is it not? You say, okay, Russia start fighting with the Ukraine. So there is a topic. No, but that fight is not ending. 100 days have passed. Now there is no topic. Is it not? Now what is the topic? No topic. Is it not? So Kashmir file got released. There was a topic. But after 2 weeks, no topic. So people are looking for something new, something here and there actually. And therefore people keep hopping. Like one time one of my colleagues in Melbourne University, so she was feeling very morose. I said, what happened? She said, I want to watch movie every single day, one movie at least, She said, but there are not so many good movies, what to do, You see, lack of topic, is it not? Not so many good movies because the rate at which you can digest, the rate at which production doesn't take place. But you see, Krishna consciousness is one such topic, it always gives a new flavor. It always gives a new flavor. Because you see, the nature of material topics is that it is stale. From its very inception, it is stale, and therefore it doesn't satisfy the heart. It doesn't satisfy the heart. It's stinking, it's smelling, it doesn't have any taste. But Krishna Katha, is one, no, there's one topic, but it gives a new installation and revelation every time. And therefore, it's a one-stop shop. Because you're sitting and you don't know what are you going to get today. Yeah? Someday you'll get a pat on your back, shabash. Someday you'll get a slap on your face, badmash. So that's how Krishna Katha is. And so what will come, which day, you don't know. So not a big deal. It's exciting. Is it not? So that's why Krishna Katha never saturates. So the big deal is, rather we will see material adjustments are a big deal. The material adjustment, they are a big deal actually. To materially adjust requires a lot of energy. Material adjustments, very big deal. Sometimes people are not able to make it also. To change material settings, very difficult. It's a big deal. Just like you see, 1947, relocation, big deal. Indo-Pak relocation, actually, big deal actually. People left their homes, they had to relocate. I have heard our grandparents and great-grandparents used to stay in Rawalpindi. They were very rich. I don't know, there's no verification, testification, but I just heard. And they had to leave everything and run. They couldn't even carry clothes. They had to just run like that. Because otherwise, in an attempt to carry the clothes, they would not have remained alive. So they had to just run like that. He came and settled in Dehradun. So very big deal. People have excruciating memories, is it not? Very big deal, actually. Material adjustments, very big deal, is it not? Suppose somebody has to change his business, or previous business not working, now he has to start a new business, very big deal. Lot of problems, is it not? Material adjustments, very difficult. Suppose one has to change his profession, very big deal, is it not? So one is master of a skill or profession. He's changed profession, he becomes ignorant, and he becomes illiterate again. He has to start from ABCD again. Very big deal actually. So material adjustments are very difficult to bring about actually. Therefore, you see the path of yoga, is Krishna's. So therefore, we see Varnasrama as Krishna's great mercy, where Krishna is telling the devotee, the sadhaka, not to change his material adjustments much, not to change his material settings much. One can remain doing activities of a Shudra, of a Vaishya. A Shudra is respectable. A Shudra is not a curse. It's a respectable title, Shudra. Now, so Kshatriya. Not that anyone who wants to go back to Godhead, he has to be a Brahmana. Not like that. So Krishna is making the practice easy. Because Krishna is saying, okay, now what to offer to Krishna? Krishna is saying, whatever you have, you offer to me. That makes it so easy and practical. Otherwise, just to change material settings, it requires so much of energy. Is it not? Just like from school to land up in IIT, it's not easy. It's very difficult, right? It's not easy. It requires so many scores of weeks of hard work. Is it not? It's not easy. Is it not? From here to land up into a big software company, not easy. A lot of hard work required. So material adjustments are not at all easy, and sometimes what happens that whole life, half the life goes in actually positioning oneself. Like we hear quite often, this But by the time, doctors, they position themselves, others are thinking of retirement, Because if at age 40 or so, others start thinking about retirement, Okay, I think, So the point is a huge amount of, so many years just to position oneself, Is it not? That's the point. So this is material settings. Therefore, the Lord is telling, don't unnecessarily fluff in material settings too much. Because too much fluffing in material settings are going to be quite troublesome. And one's consciousness will be sabotaged by the material waves. And it will be difficult to ascend. Krishna is telling, whatever you have, make an offering. That will give you a levitation. That will give you an elevation. And just transcend the material plane. Therefore, the Lord is telling, whatever you have, just offer to me. This is such a beautiful benediction of the Supreme Lord on the living entities. So too much of endeavor to position oneself materially here and there will waste a lot of time and energy. And there is no gain. Because the gain will happen when we make the material offered to the matter. Offered to the Lord. So when we offer the matter to the Supreme Lord, that is what is going to bring about the change, the elevation of consciousness. So that's why the Lord is making it irrespective of the specifics of what we have. Okay, a little bit is fine. Like a little bit we learn how to play Mridangam, slow beat, fast beat, 2 beats we have learned. That's okay. But one wants to become a Pandit, get Panditya in Mridangam playing. It may take too much of time and energy. And not much difference in the kirtans. Yeah, no. So if you see, kirtans are not so much driven by the the melody, but the fervor of the kirtaniya, is it not? Devotional and enthusiastic both. So if you see kirtans, majorly they were driven by the fervor of the kirtaniya, not the kind of skills. Not much difference, is it not? Anyways, to understand the difference, it requires one to be Sangeetagya himself, is it not? Which most of the janta is not. So it doesn't make much of a difference, is it not? Yeah. I myself remember when I was not knowing anything about Mridangam, there was one devotee used to come, used to play 5 beat, fast beat. But that used to sound to me better than the 6 beat. So it was more enthusiastic, You felt like dancing a little more in that, So like that. I used to like that, 5 beat, In one, in, out, 5 beat, like that. So it's more enthusiastic. So now I said, no, that is not so sweet. This is more sweet, and this and that. That, who cares, So the point is, not much material adjustments are needed. And that is the setting of Varnasrama. So Lord's great benediction here actually. Shreyansu dharmo vigunaha paradharmat swa anushtitat swabhavaniyatam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. One's occupational duty is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. As already discussed in previous verses, the duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra are prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by the Shudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahmana, although he may have been born in a Brahman family. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Supreme Lord. The occupational duty of a Brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness. But if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of a Brahman. For a Kshatriya and administrator, there are so many abominable things. A Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies. Sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. What's that? Such violence and diplomacy or duplicity accompany political affairs, but a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahman. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there need be no fear of degradation. In the business field also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If it doesn't do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit, the merchant cannot exist. So therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if the merchant says he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that if he is engaged in an occupation in which telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahman. That is not recommended. Whether one is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, a Shudra, doesn't matter. If he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even Brahmanas who perform different types of sacrifice sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such ceremonies. Similarly, if a Kshatriya is engaged in his own occupation, kills an enemy, there is no sin incurred. In the third chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of yajna or for Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal sense gratification is a cause for bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord. So the Lord explains here that ranking does not matter. Engagement is what matters. Perfectionism does not matter. Engagement is what matters. So what exactly one should offer to the Lord? Krishna is telling whatever you have next to you, you just offer. Don't go for a lookout to search for some specific things and keep looking out in the material world and getting bewildered and taking one life after another. That's material world. Material world is a bhul bhulaiya. So sometimes one feels that, okay, what I have may not be very best to offer. I will look out for something very nice material and then offer to Krishna. But you enter the material world, there is no coming out only. Look out, look out. It's such a no. You never come out only to make an offering to Krishna. It is so enticing, material world. So therefore, one should not fluff the material energy too much. That's the point. So here it is said that no work is abominable. Prabhupada is mentioning. So whatever we can do for Krishna is very nice. So sometimes we keep running behind material positions. That if I get this position, then I can offer the service to Krishna very nicely. But it doesn't work out. Maya traps in this way. In this way, we go on postponing service to Krishna and hopping from one position to other position. Takes away, saps away all of our energy, all of our energy actually. So this is what happens actually. So sometimes it just saps away all of our energy actually. So so therefore there is no point. There is no point in hopping around. Whatever we once a position, one can offer service from there itself. It's not that okay, I'm a student who will hear me. Better I'll preach only when I get job. It doesn't work out. It doesn't work out that way. So sometimes some people they don't preach in their own company. Why they don't preach in their own company? They feel I am a junior. How can I preach? Let me become manager first. But the attempt to become a manager, you'll forget only Krishna consciousness by that time. So material adjustments are not at all required. The Lord is telling here. And you see, every interaction with material energy requires some or the other obnoxious element, and that element has to be tolerated. So whatever script one has to tolerate, better use that than to go to a new arena, because we won't be able to handle the nuances there. That's the problem. So in conditioned state, matter or dealing with matter becomes imperative because we are very much attached to matter. But if you offer matter to Krishna, then that gives one elevation of consciousness. Then one's vision goes a little above matter. A little more offering, then one's vision goes more above matter. So in this is slowly one's vision goes completely above matter. Then it does not matter. Then one can fully spread Krishna consciousness. Fully help people on a spiritual platform. Then no need of any material dealings. But till the time that stage happens, whatever matter we can offer, so it elevates the consciousness. That is the principle. Therefore, positioning is not at all important. engagements, steadiness, steady offering to Krishna is what is needed. Steady offering to Krishna. So Krishna consciousness is not a one-time success. No. It's not that okay, tomorrow I will get Nobel Prize, and whatever Nobel Prize money I'll get, I'll offer that to Krishna. See, today you are getting 5,000 rupees stipend, you offer that to Krishna, is it not? So Krishna consciousness is not about one-off achievements. But okay, this stage will come, and then the whole world will be looking at me, and then I will tell them, you better chant Hare Krishna. Today also you can speak. You see, 2-3 people will come and listen to you. Is it not? That's the point, which is explained here. So nature will mean inclination, but nature will also mean practice. Nature will mean inclination. Now inclination is not the same as desire. One may desire anything. Like one may desire to become the president of India. Desire is not nature. Nature means inclination. Inclination has both the aspects. So inclination means what? Training and resistance. That okay, what training we have got, in which direction, and resistance. Which grounds nuances one can tolerate or resist. Is it not? So that is what has to be seen. So therefore, so it is said that what is our nature? Any activity which we can do for 8 hours without without much problems continuously. That is our nature. If we can cook for 8 hours happily, nicely, then that is our nature. Is it not? If one can do a construction seva chanting nicely 8 hours a day non-stop, that is nature. Means not cribbing, crying, trying to look for loopholes, corners. If one can read Bhagavatam 8 hours, that is his nature. That means Brahmana. No, if that is one nature, then one can become a Bhagavatam. Then one can write books. One can so. So inclination is dependent on training, and inclination is dependent on resistance. Like that. Like somebody, so inclination is not just desire. It's a matter of training also. So inclination is a matter of training also. So it's not just okay, what do you have resistance? Sometimes you may have multiple things installed. So one thing is installed 60%, another thing is installed 45%. But the training in the 40%, 45% line has been happened a good amount. Then one need not hop, because like I very much wanted to become a medical professional or a doctor. I had no inclination for engineering, but I was forced to. So I landed up being an engineer. Now half the life has passed. Now a person thinks, no, I'll follow my inclination. It's a bogus. Is it not? What training you've got is something else. Now you use your mental energy, whatever you have, offer it to Krishna. Once it is finished, then you transcend that. Is it not? Like Raghunath Das Goswami, he didn't set up an industry. Although he had a lot of money, he could have become a venture capitalist. But Srila Raghunath Das Goswami didn't become a venture capitalist. He thought, so he could have thought, okay, I will fund, I will fund Mahaprabhu's everything, all mission, why Mahaprabhu's only touring India, I'll make him tour, throughout the world and all that, He could have thought and become a venture capitalist, but he didn't, because Mahaprabhu can arrange money, is it not? Like that. But whatever money he had, he offered to Krishna, and when his money got finished, he was sitting in Simhadwara, and chanting Hare Krishna, That's what, So he used to invite all the Vaishnavas for feast and feast and feast, and one point he stopped inviting, And Mahaprabhu was tensed up. Mahaprabhu said, Raghunath Das Goswami not inviting for feast now. What happened to him? So Saru Damodar Goswami said, his reserves have finished now. Whatever money he had is finished now. So where is he now? And then now he's sitting in Simhadwar, he's asking for begging, for alms, and he's chanting Hare Krishna. Whatever remnants he's getting, he's very happy about it. Mahaprabhu became very happy. Mahaprabhu said, yes, that is the point. Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga. Is it not? So the results got finished. Not that, oh, I was doing such a nice service, of, okay, service finished, Now move on. Is it not? To the transcendental plane. So one should not, so the training is also important. In this material world, as such in this material world, one thing is as bogus as any other thing. Yeah, one subject is as bogus as any other subject. So whatever is easily, now we can, better just do that, whether one is a teacher, engineer, whatever. Till the time that matter is offered to Krishna, it gives us elevation and then transcend to the spiritual plane. No need of fussing around, wasting time in the material energy too much. That's the point. Prabhupada didn't waste his time, earning, earning any degrees, earning any, reputation, Prabhupada didn't do a course of writing skills, he just preached, he just shared. Prabhupada didn't do a course of management, organization, how to organize, how to manage. He didn't do anything. That is the point which you have to understand. Yes. No, so inclination means basically inclination has to be directed towards Krishna. What is the percentage? 100% it has to be offered to Krishna. That is what is being said. Here it is not said offer 10%, 5%, 25%. There is no bargain here. Here it is said offer everything to Krishna. Where is the bargain here?